Okay guys, Travis Gillespie here, and we've got another problem to work on, and we've got a figure where there's a line that's passing through points W, X, Y, and Z. And what we want to do is find two different line segments. So I'm just going to write line segments here, and we'll locate two different ones in a second. Now, I remember that line segments have a starting and stopping point. So if I were to start at point W, I would move along the line until I hit a stopping point. Well, there's a stopping point at X, a stopping point at Y, or a stopping point at Z. Let's go ahead and just create a line segment, W, Z. And I'd put a bar over those without any arrows indicating I have a starting point at W and a stopping point at point Z. Cool stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and locate another one. Well, could I just reverse the order and just say line segment ZW? Would that be a different line segment than the one before? And the answer is no, because both point W and point Z are considered endpoints. So I'm just going to say that these are equal to each other, the same thing. So I can choose to use one of these line segments to represent this line segment between W and Z. So let's go ahead and locate a second line segment. I could still start at point W or start at point Z, but I would have to choose a different point to stop at this time. Well, let's go ahead and use point W and point X this time. So I would write line segment WX, or I could reverse them and represent the same line segment as line segment XW. Cool. So now I have two different line segments here. And now let's just divide this out, and we're going to locate 6 rays this time. So we have 6 rays that I want to locate. And rays, they always have a starting point. So if I were to start at point W, well, remember, to represent a ray, you always put your starting point first, and then move forward to the second point that it's going to pass through. In this case, I'll use X as my second point. So starting at W, passing through X, put a ray up above indicating the direction that this ray is moving. Now a second ray would start at W and pass through, in this case, Y. So starting at W, passing through Y, and put a ray above them. Another ray could still start at W, but in this case, will pass through Z. So starting at W, passing through Z. Okay, so let's find another ray. So far, we've always started at W and moved through X, Y, and Z so far. So this time, let's move a little further down the line, and let's go ahead and move in the opposite direction. Maybe this time we'll start at Y and move in the opposite direction. So I have starting at Y, passing through X. Could be a ray. Or starting at Y, passing through W would be another ray. And finally, let's move on to another letter. So this time we'll start at Z and pass through, oh, I don't know, let's say X this time. So starting at Z and passing through X. So these are just possible answers for rays, and there are still a few that I haven't located. What would be a good practice problem for you right now is just press pause and try to find those missing rays. But instead of locating all of them, I'm going to look at it in another way. What's another way to name the ray ZY here? So if I had ray ZY indicated or expressed here, starting at Z, passing through Y, starting at Z, passing through Y, let's ask ourselves, what's another way to name this? Well, if this ray continues on, it's going to pass through point X and point W. So a way I could indicate this is ray ZX, which we did earlier. So let's indicate it this time as ZW. So ray ZW, I'm going to change that color. So another way to name this would be starting at Z, passing through W. So ray ZW is another way to name ray ZY. Cool stuff. See you in the next problem.